Let's start using our Animate that we just imported, our package here. But before we can use it, we need to actually go back to the app.module up here, even though I just said you should close it. But we need to declare that we're going to use it, and we're also going to state in our app module that is part of the providers we're going to use, so it's providing us code, and we're going to create a declaration that we're actually going to use it. So in here, in our declarations, we're going to do the animates directive here. That's going to help us use it, and it's also doing the import statement up here with the animates directive from css-animator. So make sure you have this line as well after importing this one here. It should automatically do it for you. If not, make sure you write it by hand. That's the first one. Now scroll down to your provider, because we also need to have a provider down here. Just start with a capital A, animation service. Yes, there we go. So like this, and remember the comma to separate. So animation service, and it should be up here as well. Click save if you have both of them up here, and you can go to your app to make sure you don't destroy the code, to rerun it. If it runs, then you're golden and you can continue. If not, there's probably an error somewhere you need to fix before continuing. Right, let's head back to our home here and start doing some small things so we can start animating things like wobble or whatever we want really. But let's create a div to start with. So just a standard div, and in this div we're going to be using we're going to write animate, and this is the directive in our Ionic right now, because we imported the packages. And we're going to use a creative variable here, not a variable, holy moly. We're gonna name the variable animation, and we're gonna assign it to animates. So this is how we can start controlling whatever we want to it. We don't really need any more. If you want to do center, you can do center on it or whatever. But this is the first part we need for this to work. So this is the directive that we installed, and this is a variable we're assigning the animates to. That's the first part, and then we're just going to create a span, or let's create something we know, a paragraph, and it says hello with 3 O's for some reason. And inside the paragraph here, we're going to add a little bit more. So once we click the paragraph, we want an event to happen, like wobble or something like this. So just go in here and do an on click, just like we did with the JavaScript. If we click something, do something. I don't think it's called on click actually. If I recall, that's pure JavaScript. It's just called click. There we go. Because we're using the Ionic framework. So just parentheses click, in parentheses equals, and then those 2 apostrophes. We are now going to call our variable up here, animation, which is assigned to this, has this assigned. So type in animation, like this. What we want to use this for is, we want to tell it to, of course, use the animations, but we also want to tell it, once you click it, you're going to start something. And in our case, we are going to start, so I added parentheses. If you didn't notice, I can zoom a little bit here, like this. And inside these parentheses, we're going to create curly brackets, and we're going to tell it what to do, and also assigning a duration, for example. So type is the first one we want to use, and the type can be, if we go back to our browser here quickly, so let's go to animate up here. So the type could be, let's go with a jello. I don't know what jello. Woo, that's a wobbly. So we want to add the jello to our animation here. So we do apostrophes here and do jello. That's what we want to do, and then we want to add a duration for this if we want to make it specific. And let's do 2000. That's a long duration. And let's click save and see if that works, or if I forgot something. Let's do this and go back to this, and right now it's going kabooey. So let's click this. Ooh, it does the jello effect right now, as you can see. So if you click this, now we assigned the jello effect to our our paragraph here by clicking it. And we can continue adding more or changing this to bounce, I think it was called. I'm not sure. Let's test. So let's do a bounce, and woo, it does a bounce thing, and so on, and we can change the direction here. But that's how we can use and import a package or another library and start using these animations in our Ionic. In the next video, we're just going to do a little bit more to this to see how we can do a little bit more. I don't know what I want to say. We're just going to add a little bit more to it.